My name is Dr. Holly Jones, and I study ecosystem restoration and island ecology. There are two primary reasons why an animal might want to camouflage itself. The first one is to hide from predators. So a lot of chameleons do this, and a lot of what we call cephalopods in science, which are things like octopus, squid, and cuttlefish, do this, where they'll change their whole appearance to mimic whatever they're sitting on, and that helps them to avoid predators, so predators can't see them as well. So the other reason that an animal might want to camouflage itself is it itself is a predator. So a good example of this are lions in the savannah. So lions are the same color as the grasses that they often hide from their prey in. And so if a zebra or some other tasty snack wanders by, they might not see that lion, and then the lion can ambush that prey. And so those are the two ways primarily that animals use camouflage. Camouflage comes up in the wild robot in a really cool way, actually. So Roz, to get by on the island and to not scare all the other island creatures, camouflages herself and really just does a lot of observing of all the species and things that happen on the island so that she can better fit in. Roz actually does what a lot of biologists do, especially when we want to observe animal behavior. So when I work on islands, the species that I often work on are seabirds, and seabirds would change their behavior if they saw a person sitting there watching them. And so what we build are these things called blinds, where we build this sort of structure where we can hide in this structure and then observe that animal and to see what they do in their normal environment without our presence affecting them. There are ways that you can observe nature in a quiet way, and these sort of tips and tricks can help you go out there and observe nature and not disturb it. So one of the things that I always tell my daughters and anyone else who wants to see wildlife is that you have to be quiet. So if you walk through the forest as quietly as possible, if you walk through a prairie as quietly as possible, or even if you can just sit and observe, those are some of the best ways to observe nature. And then when you see something really cool, there's a really cool wildlife biologist, and he's a birder. His name is Jason Ward, and what he tells people is that you have to party on the inside when you see nature. So you're very excited on the inside, but you can't make any loud noises or sudden movements to affect animals' behavior. And then the other thing is that, you know, when you're walking through nature, as long as you're sort of quiet, calm, collected, that's when you hear the most things. And then you can also go and sort of flip rocks and see what's under rocks, flip logs, see what's under logs. So go out there and actually explore your environment. Try your best to let nature alone and observe it at a distance to keep both it and you safe.